I've been playing VRChat for many years now, and I've certainly learned some things, but what we're going to discuss today is quite possibly the most important thing that I could ever teach you. But before we get into the real meaty stuff, let's try to get a better understanding of what an avatar really is. There are multiple definitions of this term, but most of them seem to revolve around a representation of someone or something. For technology or games specifically, it's defined as a graphic representation that can act as a proxy or substitute for a player. People are going to see this avatar and associate it with you, but more on that later. In regular games, your avatars are generally characters that you play as, and although they may represent you a little bit, they're nothing compared to an avatar on a social platform. Your VRChat avatar is not a character. It's meant to be you in the virtual world, assuming you're not role-playing anyway, but that's an extremely small fraction of the player base. Here, you are not controlling a separate character, you're directly controlling your virtual representation. When you move your head or hands in real life, so does your avatar. There is nothing closer than a digital representation than a virtual avatar. Now, listen closely to what I'm about to say. People use certain avatars for certain reasons. Consider this to be the unofficial, secret fifth tenet. Now, it may not sound like much at the surface, but the more you think about it and see how it applies in game, the more sense it makes. Avatar selection is not random as some idiots may lead you to believe. These same idiots claim that, oh, they don't care how they look. But if that was true, then they never would have stopped using the default robot model. I challenge you to say otherwise. Now, the earlier claim of people use avatars for certain reasons generally only covers the most common scenario of players regularly using the same model or kind of model. Now, I'd say this makes up about 99.9% of all players. I know there are very few exceptions, but there's no point worrying about them because they're such a minuscule part of the community. Anyway, remember how I said that people are going to associate an avatar with you? Well, it's simply unavoidable. It can't be prevented. Eventually, people are going to attach your personality, including voice, to your avatar if used consistently. So, for example, let's just say you're a guy who always uses the same female avatar or two. They're going to think of your name, and an image of a woman pops up in their head. Is that how you, as a man, wants to be remembered? Is that the kind of form you want representing your personality? If you, as men, use these female avatars, and you know and understand that this is going to happen, well, I'm afraid to tell you that you might just be a trans. And what are the two known reasons why men cross-gender in this game? Perversion and soy. These are the two things responsible for all consistent trapping and cross-gendering in VRChat and all video games with purely cosmetic gender choices. Did you also know that an avatar isn't the only thing that can tell you about someone? Their rank or equipment setup possibly can as well. Let's take a look at some of the specific stereotypes. So here we have the dreaded wolf boys. These are usually picked by your stereotypical e-boy, white knight, or simp types. I feel as if they use these models in an attempt to look appealing to the opposite gender. The ones who use the shirtless, muscled avatars are clearly compensating for something, and are definitely trying hard to get e-girls. If these tryhards are trusted and have full body, you already know exactly what kind of person this is. These people live in the mirror. Then we have the soy boys or femboys who use booth or lolly models. Here you have the homosexuals, pedophiles. When these people have a higher rank and full body, you can comfortably say that they're the ones who constantly earpee with other men. Booth models are almost always dudes. Be extra careful of booth mutes because of this. Now we have the stereotypical e-girls who run around in these shitty TDA wolf thought avatars. These kinds of avatars are generally used by very generic, uninteresting e-girls. If they have a high rank with full body, you know damn well that it's some depraved e-thought stripper. VRChat women continue to be a terrible representation of their gender as a whole. These people also live in the mirror with their e-boy counterparts. Why do people use furry avatars? Well, most likely because they're furries IRL. Makes sense, doesn't it? To use these kinds of avatars is a proud display of their furryism. There have been those who have claimed to not be a furry while always using these avatars. Those people are delusional and are certainly on the path to furryism without question. They're like closet furries. Furries in general are bad enough, but the smaller young furries such as the Nanachis or Hopkins are the biggest weirdos. If they have a higher rank and use full body, you can rest assured that they're the furry ERP or pedophile type. Why else would they use smaller underage avatars? You'll see these guys around occasionally. Why would they use avatars like these? My best guess is that they're the real gamers of VRChat, not like the sad normies you see sitting in front of the mirrors. However, a lot of these guys are actual role players, so the things I've said may not even apply to them. Many of these dark red or black avatars are decorated with flashy particles, skulls, guns, swords, or other various weapons. But what does that say about the person? Well, these people are nearly guaranteed to be malicious crashers or gang monkeys who probably already hate you. You'd be better off just staying away from them. These are easily my two most hated categories. Anytime a meme makes it big enough, there will certainly be an abundance of these abominations in VR chat. A perfect example would be the stupid Big Chungus avatars. You see, it's a perfect example because Big Chungus was never funny. These people are almost guaranteed to be desktop visitors. They're children, foreigners, or the mentally handicapped. These brand new players don't know what to do, so they just pick these stupid avatars they could find in a desperate attempt to be funny. The other half of these people, the role players, are the ones you occasionally see using like Hank Hill, Shaggy, Herbert, or more than all those combined, Kermit avatars, and surely enough they'll be attempting their respective impressions. On average, I'd say that these are green VR users. I absolutely despise this group of people because there's honestly no point interacting with them. They're not funny or entertaining in any way possible, and there's simply nothing that can be said to them. The meme or funny avatar users are generally autistic subhumans who can't even figure out how to get their mics working, and the character role players can't even be regarded as people. I want to talk to real people, not characters. These these players are too predictable. Like, just go try talking to like a Kermit and see how long it takes for him to mention Miss Piggy or some dumb shit like that. Spoiler alert, it won't take very long. VRChat's homepage claims that the avatars can help you express your identity or help express yourself. I think it quickly becomes very clear what's going on when you have a bunch of men running around looking like girls with skirts on. Some of these people, they get lost. It's like delusion. They get lost into their avatars. They'll go in front of the mirror and just stare at themselves for hours and hours on end, truly wishing that that's what they looked like. It eventually turns into what you'd expect it to. It's almost like this game was designed to pervert its player base.